This is RPG a Day, Day 5. And this is all leading up to Brigade Con 2016 that will happen in October. Now, this video is what story does your group talk about or tell about your character? Well, there's a problem with this. I don't play in a lot of games, so therefore I don't have a story about a character. However, I run a lot of games. So I'm going to take this as an opportunity to discuss something my group says about me as a DM. Some stuff, though, right off the top of my head. I looked through the list of videos, and this was not one of the things that was in there, so that is why I'm doing this. So what I was going to say is that one of the things that always seems to come up in my games is that my players feel like I'm out to get them. They say, oh, like once they've wiped out the band of goblins or bandits or whatever, and there were only 6 of them, they're like, okay, when's the next wave coming? Because they know my style. I usually throw small groups in spurts at them, like boom, boom, you know? And it makes sense, I feel, when you're dealing with like dungeons and places where everything's not in one place. And sometimes in the wilderness, depending on the situations, I feel. Plus, I like to do that because it makes combat quicker. Rather than control 20 monsters at once, I'm only controlling like 4. So it makes that a little bit quicker. It also makes it a little bit easier. But yeah, so that's one of the things I always do. I always tend to throw wave after wave. Now, there's a couple things to this. When I am prepping, I usually just prep the monsters' stats, what I'm going to make them. And then say I have an area where they're going to encounter some. I'll put that number. I'll just say 1 through 6, we'll say. And I'll put the hit points right there. If I think they wiped the floor with those 6, sometimes I do throw 4 more on there. And sometimes they join in while the combat's going. Sometimes it's right after they think they've cleared the hurdle. Sometimes I throw a lot more than that at them. You know, it just depends. But that's the one thing. So my players always joke that I'm out to get them and that, oh, yeah, you just want to make it more difficult on us, like, constantly. They're always saying it. So that's the story, the one story. The other thing I was going to say is I've usually when I game with a group for the first time, they tend to tell me that I do a really good job running games. Yet the funny thing about that is usually my first time running a game, like in a campaign, say it's session 1, I feel like that's the hardest session for me to run. It's the most nerve-wracking session. And not because it's, you know, trying to get accustomed to the players or anything like that. It's just that I have no seeds yet in the game world. You know, and if you have a group that doesn't want to start already as a group, for example, one of my 2 home groups right now, it's really hard to force the players together without forcing them together. To let them naturally come together can be very difficult when you have players that that don't work towards the same goal. And that happens a lot where they're like, well, my character wouldn't do that, so I'm just not going to do that. And I hate that. But I had that happen with one of my current campaigns where the players were doing their thing separately because they didn't want to start together, and I spent the whole session trying to rope them up to come together. It ended up sorry. So anyways, spent the whole time trying to rope it together, and it made it really difficult, but it also, for me, still didn't feel like a cohesive unit until I think we're in session 4 or something like that. And I've kind of forced them to be stuck doing something together. And so now they feel like, okay, we're on this path. We'll see what happens when they're done with this. Maybe they a couple of the players try to go their own ways. And, we'll see. Like I said, we'll see where it goes. But if that happens and it gets too difficult to try and get them back on track, I'll just say, okay, you go on your own way. And then I'll ask them if they want to roll a new character or if they want to find a reason for their current character to come back to the group. But yeah, it's really hard bringing a group together as a DM. And so I think starting together is the way to go. But that's it. You kind of get two stories for one here because, frankly, I don't play a lot of games. And right now I'm not playing in one. So I'm just running games. So I made it more about what my players would say about me as a game master than a character I'm playing. So I could have probably went another way with it, such as talking about or highlighting an NPC in my world, but I felt like this was a better way to go. So hope you guys enjoyed this, and check out the rest of the playlist. There's a playlist. If you go to my profile thing, you can see my other 4 videos for RPG a day. And go over to the RPG Brigade on Facebook, and you will see a slew of other RPG a day videos by many other YouTube content creators. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.